Chapter 5, Change Your Mind, Change Your Destiny. Gratitude. Quote, "Gratitude is not only the greatest of virtues, but the parent of others." Unquote. Cicero. Who doesn't love the Pharrell song, Happy? It's nearly impossible to listen to that song and not bounce around, move, or dance. The energy, tone, and vibration of that song just makes you feel good about yourself. How would you define happiness? Does happiness come from extraneous temporal experiences? Those momentary experiences that might occur from our purchasing a new pair of shoes or perhaps buying the latest electronic gizmo we desire? Happiness can be when we are around the people we love. It could be a warm sunny day or sitting by the ocean and listening to the waves rolling up on the shore. Happiness can be an easy Sunday morning or a wonderful meal with friends and family. Happiness can come in so many forms and so many variations. The cool thing is, we get to decide what it is that makes us happy. However, so many of the things I just mentioned are temporary. They're fleeting. Some experiences may leave you with a sense of emptiness shortly thereafter, resulting in the need for the next fix. This often leads to addictive types of behaviors, such as overconsumptions of alcohol, food, medication, shopping, or unnecessary purchases. It has been my experience that true happiness occurs when we learn gratitude. Gratitude is defined by Wikipedia as, quote, a thankfulness, gratefulness, or an appreciation, a feeling or attitude, an acknowledgement of a benefit that has been received or will be received, unquote. To me, gratitude is being thankful for all the things that exist in our lives, whether we consider them good or bad at the time. In every life experience, there's an opportunity sown within it, a chance to experience something new or to be challenged, which will cause us to grow. Gratitude is an acknowledgement, an acceptance that all things currently present in our lives are there for a reason, and being thankful that they are present. Gratitude is also a consciousness of being thankful for the things yet to come, for the things that we define as being good, as well as the things that we see as difficult. Many people come to gratitude when they experience a significant life challenge, such as a health issue with themselves or a close family member. If they're fortunate enough to overcome this obstacle, the overwhelming emotion experienced is gratitude. Gratitude to be able to overcome the health challenge, to experience a new outlook on life, to have a second chance. This often leads to a new perspective on things that were perhaps once taken for granted. The simple small things in life we now acknowledge as being true blessings. If you look back in your life, I bet that some of the greatest experience you've ever had were also some of the most trying times. They'd molded you into the person you become. I've had many examples of these in my own life. One in particular is when I was faced with a major health scare. At the time, I was in my early 30s with 3 small children, when I developed a condition called benign fasciculation syndrome. This is a condition that causes muscles to flutter and twitch. It can occur in a single muscle or throughout the entire body. Think of 1,000,000 worms crawling all over your body. Not a pleasant experience. This condition began following the completion of my first triathlon, which seemed weird. Unfortunately, my condition was incessant and 24/7 nonstop. It being part familial and part stress-related, as well as the result of nutritional deficiency, was the precipitating factor in my case. But as a healthcare provider, I knew the fasciculation is also associated with ALS, or Lou Gehrig's disease. Before I was diagnosed with the benign form of this condition, I was terrified that I was going to die and leave my wife husbandless and children fatherless. All I wanted was a positive diagnosis. It was all I thought about for many weeks, before my exam was completed and the test results were known. At the time, I felt helpless, like my life was on hold. I was also feeling completely overwhelmed, anxious, and depressed. I thought, this couldn't be happening to me. I lived the right way. I did all the right things. I worked out. I ate right. I didn't smoke. I lived a healthy lifestyle. I would have done anything to avoid the fate associated with this disease. Unfortunately, those families touched by this disease know ultimately this disease is a death sentence. During the greatest challenge of my life, all I could think of was, if I can get a second chance, I would live my life differently. I pray for that second chance. I would be a better dad, husband, and leader. I would be kinder and more grateful. Fortunately for me, on that fateful day, I got that second chance. The doctor told my wife and me it was not ALS and that I was not going to die. I was shocked, relieved, and overjoyed and immensely grateful. I couldn't believe the words coming from his mouth. My wife and I were in tears. I thank God for the positive news. Believe me, my perspective on life changed forever. It wasn't that I didn't cherish my life before, but going through something like that will change you. And it did change me in a big way. I had a much deeper sense of gratitude than ever before. I committed to the pledge I made to myself to be a better human being. Rather than looking at the world as the glass is half empty, I now saw the world in a totally different light. So I asked this question: why is it that we don't live in a deep sense of gratitude all the time? Why is it that oftentimes we need a tragedy to occur before we come to this realization? It is my hope through my experience that you can come to this conclusion without experiencing a major life challenge. The human condition is constantly looking at what's not right rather than seeing all the good that exists. Because if we choose to open our eyes and change our perspective, good does exist all around us. How do we get conditioned to be so negative all the time? Is it possible to change? And if so, what does it take? What are those steps? Let's first start by understanding that gratitude has historically been a focus of most world religions. It reinforces present and future emotional and psychological benefactors. It has been found that those who appear or attend religious services more often are more likely to have a greater sense of gratitude in all areas of their lives. A study was done that found a 70% increase in sales when customers of a jewelry store were called and thanked for their purchases, compared to customers who were not called. Servers at restaurants who wrote "thank you" on the back of their patrons' checks received bigger tips. A most recent, larger study found that people who are grateful experience a higher sense of well-being. Grateful people are happier. They are less depressed, less stressed, more satisfied with their lives and social relationships. The study was from the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology. That study also indicated that grateful people also have higher levels of control of their environment, personal growth, and purpose in life, as well as self-acceptance. These are just a few of the examples and studies that have shown the positive effects of a consciousness of gratitude. Gratitude, like any other emotion, is a choice. Each day, or for that matter, each moment, we get to choose the emotion that we want to experience. At this point, you're thinking, I already do. But the reality is, most of the time, we are reactionary with our emotions and not consciously choosing them. Therefore, we allow our circumstances and those around us to have the greatest influence on our emotions. So the question is, are we more influenced by external circumstances or internal thoughts? Many people are stuck in the habit of complaining and criticizing rather than taking responsibility for their own thoughts and behaviors. Ultimately, this results in seeing yourself as a victim, and in today's culture, this is heavily reinforced. This creates a predicament that is nearly impossible to overcome. The most obvious example of this was the financial crisis of 2008, brought on by millions of people unable to pay mortgages because of the easy access to debt that had been made widely available. Neither the lenders nor the borrowers saw this as a problem until the bubble burst, resulting in the largest bank bailout in history. The government created policies that encouraged predatory lending to people who couldn't afford the loans. while at the same time they threaten lenders if they fail to make those loans. The crazy thing is that no one took responsibility for the mess and chose to blame others for their incompetence. Who was left to pay the tab for the bad policies? You guessed it, the U.S. taxpayers. The simplest way to overcome victimhood is to develop a strong sense of gratitude in your life. In fact, it is virtually impossible to be a victim and be grateful at the same time. The exciting thing about gratitude is that it doesn't only benefit the one expressing the gratitude, but the individual receiving it also experiences a higher level of personal satisfaction. Guess what I'm trying to say very simply is, if you want to change your life, start by adding an attitude of gratitude. It's the simplest thing you can do to begin to change your outlook on life. In a sense, it will be like reprogramming your operating system of your subconscious mind. This helps us move away from being our old self with the old thoughts, beliefs, and actions and emotions we've had repetitively for years. If we want to choose a new experience, we have to begin by reprogramming the mind, and particularly the subconscious mind, from which 95% of all actions originate. We are creatures of habit, and when we begin to move away from unconsciously producing thoughts, beliefs, actions, and emotions to taking control more consciously, in other words, being more aware of those things, we begin to rewire the brain to fire differently. We then create new thoughts, new beliefs, new actions, new emotions, new results. This all starts with the consciousness of awareness. Being aware of the thoughts that we are experiencing all the time is so counterintuitive to today's culture and society. Virtually everything we experience is designed to move us away from reality, to move us away from conscious thought, and to dull our senses, which results in a mind-numbing experience. Shifting our consciousness requires a reawakening to conscious living. So let me be clear. All we have to do is to remind ourselves who we no longer want to be. This may seem difficult and challenging, but it starts with a simple decision, one in which you begin by asking a question: do I choose to continue to experience the life I have, or do I want something new and different? If your answer is the latter, then let's begin by changing our thoughts so we can anchor ourselves to a consciousness of gratitude. The interesting thing about rewiring the mind is that once you create your new habit and behavior, such as your new self, it's impossible to have two opposing thoughts at the same time. So when you're in a consciousness of gratitude, you are less likely to experience things like hatred, anger, and fear. The more we focus on what's good, the more we attract what's good. This is not a simple play on words, but one that I've experienced on countless occasions. For example, I had a desire to serve more people in our community. To do so, I needed to share with them the life-changing benefits of natural health care and chiropractic. This could provide my community with more abundant health and vitality. So I began to express more gratitude for the opportunity to serve. The funny thing is, the more gratitude I expressed, the faster my business grew. The more I focused on it each day, the busier I got. And the more patients I started to see, the act of being truly grateful built my business. I can give you countless other examples of similar experiences, but this is why I have such a strong belief that gratitude is a foundation that can change your life and the lives of those around you. Gratitude unlocks the power of abundance, which attracts things to us by first giving thanks for what it is that you want to create ahead of time. There's no greater source and no greater tool to start with than gratitude. It will make the world around you a better place to be inside and out. 6 steps to creating more gratitude in your life. Step number 1, create a gratitude journal. One can be purchased at a store or simply use a loose leaf notebook or a journal notepad app on your mobile device. Step number 2, write down all the things that you're currently thankful for in your life. all the things that are going well. This could be your health, relationships, job, finances, friends. List them all as completely and as thoroughly as possible. Step number 3. List and identify all the current challenges you're experiencing in your life. For example, you might be experiencing challenges with family, relationships, health, career. Be thorough as possible. The second part of this step is to answer the question, how does this current challenge benefit me in my life? What lesson am I supposed to learn from this experience? This can be difficult, but this requires serious thought. In what ways will this challenge make me stronger? List each one as thoroughly and completely as possible. I want you to see the inherent opportunity and lesson from each of these challenges. This will begin your mental reframing. Step number 4. At the conclusion of each day, open your gratitude journal and date it. Then write out 3 things that you're currently grateful for on that particular day. These can be as simple as a home-cooked meal, beautiful rain on a spring afternoon, or a new book you just started reading, hopefully mine. Then write one challenge you had for that day, why you're thankful for it, and what did you learn from it. The power from this habit is nearly immeasurable. This literally begins to retrain your brain by neurologically rewiring how the brain fires into a habit of thinking in a gratitude consciousness. Step number 5. Each morning upon waking, before you even open your eyes, give thanks for the opportunity to live your dream. Give thanks for the abundance in your life, for your health, your family, your ability to serve and to live out your dreams, and for the one big goal you want to accomplish that day. This will begin the flow of gratitude in your consciousness as you start your day. Step number 6. Do each of these lessons every day without fail. In the beginning, creating these new habits can be a challenge. The more diligent and consistent you are with applying these steps daily, the faster you will create the new habit of gratitude. Before long, if you keep at it, you'll begin to receive all the amazing benefits of gratitude in all aspects of your life. 4 questions to eliminating obstacles to gratitude. Question number 1. What dominant emotion, such as fear, uncertainty, doubt, anger, envy, guilt, or despair, do you need to release to live presently in gratitude? Question number 2. How will living in a state of gratitude change your life? Question number 3. What would your life look like if you lived in the presence of gratitude? Question number 4. What date do you plan on implementing gratitude into your daily success habits?